Hi folks, my name is Shanti Kumar V. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and across the globe for all the professionals who are all watching this video. My today's topic is in cloud projects I've been supporting for consulting kind of thing as external consultant for small activities. I have observed many process gaps and practices gaps and even resources skills gaps also. With that knowledge, I have prepared a slide and also I wrote a blog also on that. How the defects are populated in cloud, what are the defects cost, how it is increasing it by with lack of practices. All those I have documented here in this video, which I'm going to explain them in detailed way. And if you see, uh, costly defects can be created in a cloud setup, and how it is means there are several reasons. The reasons are mentioned here up to 19 points. These all are different points, and if you see, I'll read one each of them and I'll explain related to which area in an organization or in a project organization kind of thing. First one is lack of planning skills. Yes, if you want to move into cloud, yes, AWS account can be created by any corporate very simple way, like a free tier account, and they give credit card or account details or something, then it is going to be approved in a day or something. Yes, you have a corporate account, but what for you are using? When do you need to use it? So what kind of systems need to be migrated, or what kind of new systems need to be configured? Such kind of planning is lacking everywhere. Without having that, one person will plan to create in cloud and set up, then they'll start doing it, then they'll do a reverse engineering defect free process. The reverse engineering, when you do it, we have been watching in the IT industry, it is more costlier than the regular process. Even if you take any code refactoring in the IT industry, for many projects when they were migrated to Agile SDLC, yes, they used to spend more money for that projects, re-engineering projects. I've worked with many such kind of clients in my past experiences in delivery management. I observed that. With that experiences, I am saying, so the same way, without planning, they are starting the cloud projects. I mean, they might plan a small plan. Yes, we want to move this or we want to create this setup in cloud. That is not enough. The overall organization-wise, they need to plan it, and incrementally they need to accelerate it as per the sprint cycles, agile and the sprint process that need to be happening. Then second one is lack of cloud technology design skills. You might feel many lakhs of people or crores of people have been trained by different online and classroom sessions by different companies across the globe. But what they have learned it, they learned only how to create EC2, how to create S3, how to create bucket, how to create a CRR process, how to create like a cloud watch kind of thing, or simple services screen operations only. They learned it, but they are not aware where to use, when to use, how to use, in which project. If you want to create infra setup, where to use it, and where are the defects can be created with this knowledge. They don't know that. Particularly if you take any cloud architect, the cloud architect standards are defined it by Gardner research company few years ago. I have published in my blog also, which is there in this URL. You can see that. And as per their statement, the cloud architect need to be having high technical qualification. So that is lacking. Initially, they'll take as a cloud engineer by having a certification. So they feel like that certification is enough, but certification is going to evaluate it, how to use AWS services, what kind of defects can be created in the AWS services, but it is not into the project level. How it can be shown as a solution for that activity in the project. So that you can find out from that. video. Lack of infra domain knowledge. Obviously, if you take in cloud engineer role, I will show one slide, just a moment. Now if you see this particular slide, it has different traditional infra roles. Take a network engineer or admin. What is the role? What are the tasks he or she might do it? Designing, setting up, maintaining networks, maintaining the devices, managing security and user groups. That is the typical activities. But there are ad hoc activities also many people are doing in the projects. And if you take system administrator role, creating physical machines with OS, it can be Windows OS or it can be Linux OS, and configuring software, servers, allocating, maintaining the users, maintaining the machines. Apart from that, they will have a lot of upgrades also, OS related upgrades. Maybe if they want to install some server software, Apache or AS server, or you take any typical database services kind of things, they might do it. So they need to upgrade it. These upgradation activities used to be done in the weekends on the production systems and test environments. So weekdays we used to do that when we had deployment activities. But the system administrator typical activities are these. Then when you talk about database administrator, his or her role is configuring and maintaining database servers. Even they might do setting up the installing the database server software also, and creating schemas, databases, maintain permissions, backups, upgrades, and replicas. And when it comes to the deployment engineer, creating, maintaining environments, packaging, builds, deploying builds, tracking issues. So these are the typical activities for a deployment engineer. They used to do that by coordinating with different project teams, taking the builds, by applying some kind of process for packaging and deploying that. So these are all the infra roles. But what are the technical roles? Typical technical roles for our functional roles, if you see, which are in the project, directly involved in the project. There is a developer. The developer role is collection of product requirements, designing them for software code, building the development environment, developing source code, unit testing and fixing, coordinating for other activities. These are the typical activities where the developer does it. Apart from that, of course, he is a strong learner among all the project team. If he is having lack of learning skills, he is going to be handicapped in the IT industry. That everybody is well aware of that. So top learner across projects is the developer. We can give high priority for him. As per my experiences, as per my people handling project experience, I'm saying. Then test engineer. If test engineer is a technical guy, he will be doing automation also. But the typical tasks are creating test cases against the design requirements, building a test environment for the entire product testing, executing the tests. When you talk about building a test environment, this is a typical technical environment related task. So technical skills need to be there with the test engineer. So obviously this test engineer need to learn for each system what is the environment, what kind of code is there, what kind of technical components are there. You need to learn all those things. So when you talk about all these top 4 plus these 6 roles consolidated way, when they transform into cloud, all these people can perform as a common role, which is equivalent of the cloud engineer or cloud architect kind of thing. If people have more than 5 years experience, they will have more infrastructure knowledge, infrastructure implementation experience, such kind of things. Then the organization can utilize them for junior level solution architect. And let us go back to our original slide. Now these people, what they are having, no unique person has different roles knowledge. You have seen the roles here. If developer is there, tester will not have that knowledge. Even if you take a network administrator, You will not know what is DBA activity, what is sysadmin activity, what is deployment engineer activity, because their role is embedded with particular set of tasks only. But when they come to the cloud, what happens? Their cloud role is entirely different. These guys can go and perform any kind of activities. That is flexibility. That is very flexible. With that flexibility, many people are transitioning into cloud projects very faster way by learning cloud services. Now, so if you take one person, yes, one person will not have complete knowledge. Like network engineer will not have DBA knowledge, DBA will not have network knowledge. That kind of things are lacking it. Similarly, if you take a developer or test engineers, they are not aware what is networking kind of thing. So many people, they don't bother in the physical networks, right? Because physical networks were laid down by network teams. So nowhere connected with that activities. They might know some of the database activities, some of the sysadmin activities, being as a developer, being as a test engineer, hardcore technical test engineer, or even the deployment engineer knows these technical activities only, but he will not know network related skills. Similarly, network guys will not know these guys skills. So the consolidated knowledge is lacking. So by having consolidated knowledge lacking, how they are going to perform all these tasks? These tasks are embedded in any cloud services. You take AWS or Google Cloud or Azure kind of services, cloud services. Some of them are automated in the backend itself. When you create the service, yes, automatically everything is there. But they need to understand this kind of thing under part of the infrastructure domain knowledge. That is lacking here. That is my intention of saying this. Lack of communication across projects. If these guys have worked in the DevOps culture, or if the current organization is using DevOps culture activities, yes, obviously this will not be suitable for them, because they will have thorough communication skills. Even if they have worked on the Agile projects, they will have those skills. But Agile projects are implemented 60 to 70% only. Agile methodologies in the projects. You take any typical large organizations, what happens to the other percentage? Other percentage of the projects, they are mandated to move into cloud, but they don't have that kind of work culture, Agile sprint cycle or DevOps culture. So their communication will not be there across the teams, among the teams, as a constant communication. Such kind of barrier is there. The lack of following standard IT governance. So many organizations, they feel cloud services provider is a separate entity from the organization, and they don't need to bother about the process what they are following in the IT department, and they simply follow AWS process. But it is not that whatever you used to follow, the same thing can be followed as a part of the IT governance in cloud services. Also, you take any typical cloud, they ask you, do you follow any IT governance? You take Azure or Google Cloud or AWS, yes, they have that kind of facility to implement it. IT governance policies, procedures. Then lack of mentoring for the teams. In the past 10 years or 15 years back, when I used to work in the top-notch companies globally, yes, we used to have high-level mentors. They used to mentor the people also. I used to mentor my team members a lot. A lot of my time was spent in many projects for mentoring and preparing them for the client expectations. In fact, they got very high level score from the CSAT rating also in many projects. So that kind of mentoring activities are lacking in the organizations. Even if you take a DevOps projects, yes, DevOps projects needs a lot of mentoring and close association and collaboration, such kind of things. That is lacking. The lack of reviews. Yes, review process when it is required. So obviously when you are doing a particular activity, like moving from one phase of the test cycle to another cycle, you need to have review. In cloud projects, obviously you need to have reviews for the setup what was made it. The review can be in the part of as a part of the testing the cloud setup, or it can be part of the reviewing the created setup by some experienced people, or giving a clear cut instructions to the cloud engineers. First step, second step, third step, like that stepwise they need to give what need to be created in which service, what kind of components need to be created, what kind of specifications. You can give it for security policies and roles wise, user IDs wise, permission accesses, such kind of things. So when you don't have that kind of process followed, it will have impact on the project. I mean bad impact. Then eighth one is lack of knowledge for right testing. Yes, obviously the people who are all working on the cloud projects, they all came from different backgrounds from the past roles. They don't have testing skills obviously. With that what happens, proper testing will not happen. If you go to my blog site, I have created some defects related blogs. So you can see many of the blogs are related with this kind of thing. Proper testing was not done. It went into production into the e-commerce site. Then one of the components got failed due to lack of correct implementation. Then ninth one is lack of implementation knowledge. Yes, you are well equipped with AWS skills or Google Cloud or Azure skills. There is no doubt. But how to implement? Do you have implementation knowledge? Do you have the domain knowledge? First of all, to implement this kind of architecture we need to do these kind of things, and it will be a successful implementation. Or do you have right mentors in the organization, where what kind of knowledge they have, what kind of background they have? So all that kind of evaluation is required, and that need to be consolidated, and team need to be mentored it for right implementation. So tenth one, if you see, lack of handling big infra architectures. In the past, IT infrastructure has grown incrementally into the traditional architecture. Incrementally means they might have started 20 years or 25 years back, the infra setup for particular applications. Then they might have changed the technologies, they might have changed the servers, they might have changed the IPs, they might have changed the network configuration. So many things happened historically. That historical infrastructure you are moving into cloud. When you are moving into cloud, what you are supposed to see? You are supposed to consider many factors by taking different decisions. In fact, in 2014, I have prepared one video. This is how to initiate cloud conversions. So it has got all these kind of initial evaluation process related steps. One can benefit from this video. So here what is happening in the projects, if you see in the projects, they don't have idea on the visualization of the big infrastructure, except the guy who is sitting in the CTO or CEO or CIO level. If they have worked in the same company for years together, yes, they are the right people to have the knowledge. But the current people, entire team is new. What you are going to do? They need to study that. They need to bring the specifications clearly, and they need to have old architecture diagrams. Then they need to prepare in particular cloud service, AWS or GCP or Azure. They need to check out what kind of components can be moved on priority, what are the dependencies, what are the APIs, if it is on premises, how to connect to AWS services. All that need to be planned it. So if it is not planned it, as it is a big failure in the project itself. Lack of coordination. Yes, the lack of coordination is related with lack of some kind of agile practices implementation, then DevOps practices implementation. With that, what happens? Coordination will not be there. Everybody will feel like I am the hero in the project. Yes, in the traditional work culture only will be there. With that traditional work culture, implementing cloud is not at all possible. Even if you are implementing maybe one or two servers, you have done it, you have done the setup. Yes, that is not the implementation. You have more projects means, yes, entire thing need to be planned it. Everybody need to be working in a collaboration way. The lack of implementing agile sprint methods on the projects. I have discussed it in the top points. Yes, if any project is not having this kind of process methods, yes, obviously it is going to be failed. You are not going to move into a big bang method, the entire architecture into cloud. You are going to plan like a sprint cycles. You are mandated to use agile and sprint methods for easy transition of the cloud projects into the cloud services. Then 13th one is lack of knowledge sharing activity. Many people they feel like they are the techie guys, but in the project nowadays what is happening, if you take a DevOps projects, it is mandated to share the knowledge under sprint cycles review process. You take a at the end of the sprint cycle there is a retrospective meeting will happen. In that meeting everybody need to share their issues, handle the experience and root causes for the issues, all those things. If you don't have that kind of mindset, you are not fit in the DevOps projects itself, because that culture is entirely different. So if you are feeling like that is lacking here, you need to avoid that and you need to bring them into collaboration. The lack of team building for cloud technology. Obviously, many organizations they feel like in the market people are available. Yes, they have the HR team for hiring and firing activities. Those all will go parallelly, hiring activity and firing activity. Because I have been watching since 20 years in the industry closely. Even I was part of the activities also. So in many roles for my project supports. So this kind of culture need to be changed. It then internally also they can hire minimal with minimal skills from the market, but they need to mold them for the current project setup. Then they are capable enough to contribute for the project. So that is lacking here in many organizations. Lack of recruiting the right people for cloud projects. In market, lakhs of people are available for cloud services certified. So they're getting certifications very easily. I don't know what are the reasons also, but when they go to the job, they're not able to perform even simple S3 bucket creation or particular server creation or particular RDS services creation or load balancer setup or Route 53 setup or autoscale setup, CloudWatch setup. You take any type of services in solutions, AWS solutions. These some of the people are not fit for that kind of activities, because I worked for some of the companies offline to recruit the people. I filter them, and many people, certified people, are coming to me through social media to coach them on the domain knowledge for the project knowledge, such kind of things. So obviously it doesn't mean if one is having certificate that is enough to do project work. We need to mold them for the setup also, and at the same time those individuals also need to be matured enough to understand what they need to learn apart from the certification having it. So many people they feel like they are getting n number of cities CTC bucks, n number of bucks for the CTC, and they are going to join in the job. After joining, the hardcore manager will come and sit on their head. They are going to fail in providing the output on the projects. Now, recruiting right people, that need to be planned very well. Even if you recruit it, it doesn't mean he is going to be productive from the day one. One need to be aware of that. The productivity will take some time for any resource who joins newly in the organization. Then lack of infra conversion knowledge. I have been talking about infra in the above points. Infra knowledge is entirely different. If you take a typical three-tier architecture, either e-commerce or any online shopping mall kind of thing, there are different modules. That domain knowledge also they need to understand. Apart from technical knowledge, technical architecture, application architecture, infrastructure architecture, all these they need to understand it. It means nothing but you need to conduct one kind of brainstorm session about those activities, those knowledge, where then you plan for technical thing how to convert into cloud. So here in my video all these I have discussed in 2014, 5 years back. So if you are interested you can see that to learn some more. So the lack of experience for the cloud roles. Obviously nobody is experienced with the cloud from the day one onwards because they have worked in some other organization. Your organization is hiring from the market, bringing them into board. But in the internal people also, you can train them, because if you train them and coach them for technical skills, either AWS or any cloud service before planning, that is going to be more productive than the external hiring guys. External hiring, when you are doing it, those guys' background is different, and when they come to the project, settling into the project, it takes some time. You are going to waste that time. So if instead of that, if you do internal team building, that is going to be saved cost also for you. Next one is 18th one. Due to the cloud engineers land only screen operations during training and the infra got screwed up. Yes, you recruited at this point some people who has technical skills and certified skills. Then what happens? They got the trainings how to operate particular screen, how to create S3 bucket, how to create EC2, how to create ELB, how to create autoscale, how to create RDS, how to create DB instances, create tables, such kind of things. Up to that task only they have been trained. Remember that. If somebody says I have trained, I got training from different companies, top-notch companies, either online or classroom, don't believe that only is enough for your project requirement. If you are believing that you are getting screwed up by this guy into the project activity, it is not going to happen smoothly in the project. So that is very critical activity as manager or as a cloud architect need to be matured enough to understand that. Then lack of DevOps work culture. I have discussed that in the above points. The same thing is lacking in many cloud projects because the DevOps culture came from Agile. Agile came from the software development lifecycle methodologies for easy transition of the technical projects or products rolling over into production. Here in cloud, many people feel like this is not a software project, this is an infrastructure project. But any project you take it, you can implement DevOps culture also. You can do that process steps also by making life easy for the resources. Now what happens by having this kind of lack of activities, costly defects are created, and it is increasing the cloud budgets, and regular practice on serving pink slips are happening. You have HR teams, always they will be busy. One is hiring, another one team is hiring, another team is firing. So whom to fire? What are the steps they need to follow? You might have watched in the news also globally. Many companies have been doing it, and now due to technology's crunch rate, they all are increasing or accelerating that kind of activities. In such kind of positions, what happens? What happens to the projects? The projects are going to be screwed up without following these kind of process skills or management practices, best practices, such kind of things. Now, to cope up with all these things, I have trained, I have coached. Sorry, I can't say trained. Again, I'm doing a mistake of training concept. What I discussed with you, I can say how very loudly. I, I am coaching, mentoring, building the people into cloud architecting roles since last 3 years. The roles they came from different areas as I shown there in the 6 roles, but they are very confident enough once they are in the seat, cloud role seat. So in that area, if you want a coaching, you please consult me back, and I have given my details. My name is Shanti Kumar B, and this is my WhatsApp number. And before sending WhatsApp, you can try to ping me any of the public these things, and you can go to my profile also, LinkedIn also. You can ping me. I'll come to know your background, with whom I'm talking also. That will make my life easy, your life easy also, to coincide our thoughts and our needs also. And there is a Facebook portal I have created it. I'll show all of them one by one. If you see here, I have created a portal. its name is Build Cloud Solution Architects. So the critical solutions I have uploaded it, which I discussed with the past students who got mentored from me, and this is going to help you to evaluate it, what level of knowledge I'm circulating to the people also. And apart from that, I also manage my own DevOps practices group. I am only the person contributing for that, and in that I have some people, some number of people who are all interested to participate. Then I have a cloud practices group also where I manage them, manage the group for different practices on cloud areas. And apart from that, yes, I also have free learning site group for freshers. So this is going to help to the freshers who join nation to learn the concepts. As I discussed with you, some of the project issues will be resolved if the people are learning these kind of skills also. And so these are the things. Apart from that, you can see my videos in YouTube also with this channel name, and that's all in this. uh, Next one is what I need from you is your full name, your profile from LinkedIn and Facebook, because there are a lot of fake IDs are getting created in Facebook and LinkedIn also. It should be reliable, your profile, and trusted parties should be there, both sides, myself and you. You can connect me on LinkedIn. When you Google it, you will get the first top link, LinkedIn profile link. You can connect from there, and you should watch shared videos and have call. Yes, you should be a working IT professional. You should spend 10 to 15 hours of weekly practice during course and keen in learning, flexible for course hours. What I am going to do is here actually I have designed and developed some kind of course curriculum with AWS as a cloud service. I've taken the complete syllabus from the AWS Solution Architect Associate exam. On top of that, I'm going to cover these kind of things with the domain knowledge and process knowledge, many best management practices I'm going to discuss with you. So with this discussion, what happens? You are going to visualize that, and apart from that, for each chapter, there are multiple slides. I have prepared it under PDF format. Each slide will have left side some points. What are the function or features of that service? It will talk. Then right side there will be architecture diagram. That architecture diagram shows how the solution can be implemented by connecting to what kind of APIs or components in the project. So with that knowledge, what happens? You are getting the domain knowledge, how solution can be implemented in such kind of scenarios. At the same time, this is going to be helpful for your future client interview or job interview also. And also it is going to accelerate your skills for participating in the project, in planning, designing, implementing, managing the team with the defect-free solutions kind of thing. So that's all I would like to express in this, and you please connect me back as I discussed with you. And thanks for watching, and I wish you all the best in your cloud journey, and looking forward if you are interested to have a call with me. Thank you.